Thank you for that warm welcome. It's great to be in Nashville this afternoon. We are so proud of our many volunteers who have been working diligently on this campaign here and throughout the state of Tennessee. Thank you for your support. Newt and I are engaged in this race because we believe America is at a crossroads and care deeply about the future of this country. There are only a few months left before the most important election of our lifetime. Our only opponent is Barack Obama, and we are committed to removing him from the White House. Newt is the only candidate with the experience and knowledge necessary to rebuild the America we love. He has a successful national record of creating jobs, balancing the budget, and reforming government. Today, we need a leader who can clearly articulate why President Obama and his policies are wrong for America. We need a leader who understands that we must contain and defeat our enemies. And we need a leader with bold solutions to create a better future for all Americans. I believe that leader is my husband. Please welcome former Speaker of the House and the next President of the United States, Newt Gingrich.
Thank all of you, and thank you, Callista. She and I have been through an amazing amount of traveling and getting to meet people and getting to see people. I want to particularly thank our very good friend, Senator Fred Thompson. We're so thrilled that he could come and be with us. You should know that he's right on the edge, I think, starting Monday, of shooting another movie. He's one of the movie stars that I am delighted to have hang out with me, and by the way, he used to be a U.S. Senator. I just got told that Chuck Norris is going to join us later on this week, so we're trying to gather up these kind of guys. I'm also delighted to have my good friend Steve Gill here. We've done his radio show many times over the years, and he just does a great job representing conservatism in Middle Tennessee. You know, I couldn't help, as a historian, where we're standing. On the one hand, you have here the statue of Andrew Jackson. And you have over here the burial place of President James K. Polk, who is the only Speaker of the House to become president. Yeah. So I have this sort of identity with this space. But I particularly want to talk about Andrew Jackson, who clearly would be astonished, and actually given Jackson's personality, he'd be enraged by Barack Obama. If you said to Andrew Jackson, who had been a commanding general and then became commander-in-chief, that an American president would apologize to people who had been killing Americans, he would have just told you that his solution was rather different. Jackson understood that you want your opponents to respect you, and they don't have to like you, but they have to understand that you're formidable and you are dangerous. And the idea that we would go around the world apologizing for America would have struck Andrew Jackson as absolutely, totally irrational. And I want you to know, that if, with your help, I win the primary next week and I go on to become President of the United States, I will not apologize to people who are killing young Americans. Now, part of the strategy of being able to stand up for America requires that we understand how really volatile and unstable the Middle East is, and how really unfriendly to many of our values some elements, particularly radical Islamists, are. And that we adopt strategies that fit that reality. And that is why we need an American that makes America independent. You got it. There you go. He just cited our 2008 project of drill here, pay less, which actually, had the Obama administration followed it, would by now be working. But part one of why we need an American energy strategy is national security. No future American president ever again bow to a Saudi king, period. And if our short-term answer to Iranian efforts to block the Straits of Hormuz, through which 1 out of every 5 barrels of oil in the world goes, our short-term answer is the U.S. Navy. Our long-term answer should be producing enough oil in the United States that we don't care what the Iranians do. Let's let the Europeans and the Chinese and the Indians worry for a while, because we have the capacity to be independent of energy. We can produce more oil in the United States than either Saudi Arabia or Russia, and we can be the largest oil producer in the world, which we were for 50 years. Now, there's a second practical reason to have an American energy policy. If we keep $500 billion a year here at home, we're going to create millions of new jobs right here at home and put people to work. We know this is not a theory, because in North Dakota, where they have discovered oil on private land, where Obama couldn't stop it, they discovered they have 25 times as much oil as the government thought. That's 2,500% as much oil. And they're now producing enough oil in North Dakota that the unemployment rate is 3.5%. And that actually overstates it, because they have 16,000 jobs unfilled in the oil industry, and the 3.5% don't have the right training to do the jobs, or they would basically be at zero unemployment. That's how powerful it is. They've had 7 straight tax cuts in the state government, and the state government has a rainy day fund of several $1 billion with a state budget of $2 billion. So if we have an American energy policy, we're going to create a tremendous number of new jobs. There's a third reason to have an American energy policy. It's been estimated by the people who've been developing North Dakota that if we opened up federal land and we opened up offshore, that over the next generation, the federal government would earn between $16 and $18 trillion, not billion, trillion dollars in royalties without raising taxes. That means if we put that money to one side, got back to a balanced budget, we could virtually pay off the national debt, wipe out everything we owe to China, be economically independent of oil, and be financially independent of foreign people buying our bonds, and we would have the healthiest and most successful country we've been in a very long time.